Greetings. Welcome to this video. So, recently, today actually, and for the past couple of days, I have had the privilege to provide guidance and counseling to a sister talking about a situation that I have been through before, very similar. So, I wanted to talk about it in this video because I wish that I had had some guidance to assist me with better navigation through the scenario. Co-parenting. Unfortunately, a lot of people end up creating, co-creating another life with a individual that is not in alignment with them if they went on the physical co-creation path with another being of another being with another being to create another being before they had actually balanced out enough energetically and healed enough things to where they weren't doing this with somebody that was a detrimental person. When a partner or ex partner, yes, we're speaking in the context of co parenting with ex partners. So when an ex partner says that they will physically harm themselves if the other party doesn't break up with the person that they're with or leaves the house or separates the households, whatever the stipulation is for that suicidal thought or proclamation. Sometimes it is bluffing, and it's important, either whether it's true or false, it's important to provide that person with resources, call the suicide hotline, and make them talk to that individual on the other line. And if they're not willing to do that, you can always call 911 and let them know that this person is threatening their own life. And that way, you are not responsible for anything that that person does if they choose to. If you're so gracious, you can also find them some remote energy healing, Reiki, some remote prayer healing, some remote shamanic healing, whatever, your beliefs are. You can find them a healing modality that can be done remotely that can assist them with, clearing up that negative energy. Which, I don't want to say which can help them and help your child since they have to interact with your child. Which brings me to the topic of this video. When the negative parent says negative things to the child so that they can bring it back to the other parent, it is not something to be taken lightly. This is a very I'm sorry, but excuse me. Hold on a second. Okay, pardon me. So, when the negative party says things to the child that are, manipulative, malicious, with the whole intention to cause upheaval in the other parent's life, it is not something to be taken lightly at all. Unfortunately, I have seen people, I have experienced in another life, long time ago. I didn't take it seriously, the things that my daughter was coming home telling me that her father was saying. And it led to bigger problems down the line. Very big problems. Because when someone takes the time that they're supposed to be loving and nurturing their child to be manipulative, to be to share a negative energy with a developing mind, then that stuff is going to show up later on down the road if it's not dealt with some strategic therapy and healing and intervention. Child might tell you everything that the other parent wants them to say, but not show any signs at that moment. But later on down the line, it starts to come out in other ways because that is harmful, abusive behavior. The other parent should not be telling the child negative stuff about the other parent. That's common sense. But again, when you have a spiritually opposite partner, they're opposite. They do things opposite of you. And so oftentimes they're upset that you are free, that you have freed yourself mentally and spiritually from their shenanigans. And the only way that they can get you is through the child. Now, the only way that they can hurt you is through the child. And that is so sad that some people are so pathetic and so, what is that word? Desperate, that they can't affect somebody in a positive way. So they want to affect them in a negative way. So it's very important to pay attention to these things because I don't want people to learn the hard way like I did. It was very heartbreaking, very traumatic, the things that I experienced just because I took it lightly. Oh, it'll go away. You know, she understands that he's crazy and thank God that she's telling me what he said and no, it just got worse because when somebody wants to control someone else, every little inch that they gain, it like makes them more powerful. And then they want more and more power. So they don't not happy with just controlling that person's mind with 10%. They want 100%. So it's very important to make sure that the negative parent has supervised visits. Yes, I said it because if from what I've seen in the situation that I was in and what I've seen with other people, the supervised visits checks this negative spiritual energy that the negative parent is dealing with, and they're supervised. So they can't just say anything stupid to the child. They can't. And if it gets to the point to where the child is like, I don't want to be around that person anymore, judge, because they're saying crazy things to me when nobody else is around. Well, then there you have it. You know, but prayerfully, not too many people are out there in these type of situations, but I think it's important for this message to be presented because a lot of people deal with this stuff in silence. I know I couldn't talk about it because my ex-partner was like, keep my name out your mouth and don't tell anybody. So, the stuff that I was experiencing, I wasn't even able to talk about it until years later. And I just had to deal with it. And it's important for people to receive support. They need somebody that they can trust and that they can talk to so that they're not in it alone, so that they can make proper decisions, so that they can have a plan. Because had I told anybody what, or had I told the right person, because sometimes you can't just share it with one person. You might need to share with a couple people. So at least one of them people can say, you guys need to get some help. You guys need to get some therapy because he shouldn't be talking to the child like that because that's going to hurt the child. So, having that extra guidance is important. Somebody to say, hey, That's not appropriate. And I know that you have a lot on your mind right now and you're really stressed out, and that person's probably very intimidating and scary, but I'm here to tell you that I'm not scared of that person. And I got your back, and this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to do because this is what you want to do. People need that support because had that individual had a supervised visits, he would not have caused further harm, which he did down the line. So not only just the initial harm of the negative speech, it went on into more and more negativity. And that's what I mean when I say don't take these situations lightly. Because when somebody is showing you that they have a mental and spiritual problem and you ignore it, well, then whatever happens, you are you're gonna feel responsible for their wrongs because you didn't stop it from escalating. So that's what I wanted to discuss. Often a tactic that came up this week with the other sister and her ex partner. He threatened to be suicidal, and I've seen that before. I had experienced that. The person pretended, to um, commit, pretending like they were committing suicide, and uh-oh, I'm saying and then I feel like I'm repeating something. Hopefully not. Sorry. I do have a little distractions going on here. But I did good. I only said one time. So if they are saying that they're gonna commit suicide, that is not a moment for we're just gonna say, you know, the other parent or the loving parent to stay and be more further manipulated. No. Mm-mm. Call the suicide hotline. Call the police. Notify all their parents and friends and family members that they're threatening to kill themselves and leave. Because what is the purpose of staying with someone just because they threaten to kill themselves and they have no ambition to change? The only ambition that they have is to harm others or theirself. It just doesn't make any sense. You can also let them know because, yeah, I did repeat that because I already talked about how you can do the shamanic healing and the energy healing, prayer healing. Also, another thing that they can benefit from is by letting them know that in ancient and spiritual texts, when people commit suicide, they have to redo everything. That would be a hard stop for somebody. They would be like, wait, hold on. I know it was for me when I used to have little stupid thoughts like that long time ago. As soon as I came across that knowledge, I was good. I was like, not experiencing childhood trauma again. No, thank you. So I think that, that's a very important and lovely thing to let them know that might actually remove all those ideas from their head because most people don't want to experience their childhood trauma again. No, they're over it. So if you tell them that they succeed in their suicide, they got to redo everything, they'll be good. But just taking all precaution, notifying police, parents, and friends, and then going about your business and removing yourself from the situation. Do not allow somebody to manipulate you through fear to stay in an unwanted situation. I did that in the past. I see people doing it right now. That's how me and the sister ended up having this conversation. It is very unhealthy. The best medicine that you can give them is what I just described. And guess what? If they have made it their life mission to go on a demise, no matter what help you have provided, and you've done everything in your power, then you are clear of any fault because you did everything that you could to help them and they chose not to help themselves. So I wanted to say that. It seems like oftentimes with people who are unequally yoked, uh, and they're more negatively spiritually inclined, they have a jealousy, an anger, a resentment that this person doesn't want to be with them anymore, that this person, and instead of just loving the child, instead of just sharing love with the child, they want to share hatred with the child to attack that other parent that's minding their business, living their life, loving somebody else, and trying to be happy. So, you know, that energy is just ridiculous. But unfortunately, there's people out there in these spiritual streets that have that type of warfare. And that's why I just pray that more people out in the world are being very cautious in their life plans and making plans and not just getting involved with people because they do yoga or meditation or they're cute. Because then people can have some real spiritual problems, like terrible problems. So it's very important to make sure that you're spiritually aligned with somebody before procreating with them, another life form, another human. Because unfortunately, the children have to deal with whatever constitution their parents are at, whatever situations they parents got going on, they got to deal with it. Can you just a little pure, beautiful, innocent child having to deal with a demonic influence? It's sad. I wouldn't want to bring a child into that situation. And I regret it, you know. But I love my daughter tremendously. And that's why I'm sharing this message. I hope that more parents, if you see the signs that the other parent is mentally and spiritually unstable, don't be afraid to implement supervised visits. If your child comes back and tells you some bullshit, this person said this, and you know your child honest, put that motherfucker on supervised visits because there's no reason why they should be using an innocent, beautiful, developing mind for their disgusting garbage. Okay? So, to make sure I covered everything, I talked about, just being graceful. You know, I said, twice. I talked about being graceful and sharing tools with them, providing resources. They don't even have to know about it if you have the resources and you just want to be graceful. Because again, this benefits your child because they're interacting with this person. So if you get remote energy healing, shamanic healing for them, you have the financial resources to do that. That benefits your child. Um, no ums. So, and then also providing the resources, you know, no, providing the resources for them so that they can get the help they need if they really have a problem. Suicide hotline, police. If did you know that if you call the police and you tell them that somebody's threatening suicide, they will come pick that person up and put them in a mental hospital. I know a lot of people don't know that, but it's true because they're a danger to themselves and others. There's been a lot of homicide in like in America. There's history data, statistical data of homicides of people, that somebody broke up with them or they wanted to separate the household and they killed the the ex-partner, the children, and then themselves. And people can prevent this type of stuff just by like, sneaking away, not telling them nothing. Like when it's that bad, I'm not supposed to say, but when it's that bad, just making strategic moves, protect yourself and protect the child. I regret not doing the supervised visits. Supervised visits would have checked that negative spirit that he was in line to talk through him to say demonic things to the child. It would have checked it. And it would have prevented worser things from happening. Who want to be supervised? Nobody. Especially not when they got evil intentions. They mad, they angry, they resentful, they hateful. Those negative influences that they're dealing with are feeding off of their anger, hatred, and resentment and jealousy that their other partner has moved on, ain't giving a fuck about them, trying to live their best life, okay? And so they want to use whatever they can, an innocent child, to harm them. It's sad and it's pathetic. And I know I said that already, but don't take these situations lightly, people. If if it's that unfortunate to where you or somebody you know is dealing with another parent that feeds negativity to the other to the child that's in between them, that person needs to be checked and supervised, because that's a strategic way to protect the child from further harm. They might look like they're normal, but in the inside, having to process and deal with the fact that the person that is supposed to love them and protect them and nurture them is telling them this garbage that affects them. And had I talked to the right person about it, they would have been like, okay, you need to put your baby in some therapy, some spiritual counseling, and it's okay, because she was around this harmful energy and he was saying harmful things. And so now you need to be proactive and let her talk to someone about these things, because she can't just talk to you about it. Being open and telling enough people and getting the right advice. Because had I been open and told the right person about that, my situation wouldn't have escalated into the terrible thing that I had to deal with. So it's important for the child, if they have already been told demonic and negative things by the other party, if the other party has already influenced them to say negative and demonic things, like I seen a situation, I was told about a situation where the dad convinced the child to tell the mom that he would commit suicide if she separated the household. So that's what I'm talking about. It's just these type of psychopath, sociopath, whichever one they fit into, whether it started off as a chemical imbalance in their brain, a chemical and spiritual imbalance inside of them that began to be fueled by their experiences or triggered by their experiences. Whatever the case, they need to be handled seriously. It is not a light matter. No way is somebody supposed to tell their child to say that. No way. Mm-mm. And then for that child to have to deal with that and process that and everything else that that person says that they ain't even talking about. So protect yourselves and protect your children. If you know that you are co-parenting with a negative person and you see signs of their negativity coming out through the child verbally or in the child's behavior, do something about it. Take an action so that your child doesn't receive more harm. And that's what I want to say, everybody. That's what this video was about. It's unfortunate that people can't be happy for somebody when they move on. But if they don't love the person in the first place and they don't love themselves in the first place, how they gonna be happy anyways? Of course they're gonna be mad. So I don't believe that I had anything else to say on this topic. We talked about the resources for them. We talked about just that whole motivation of their energetic to control. I think I forgot one component of this situation. Excuse me. I did. The laziness. The laziness. A lot of times I've seen women, and I was in this situation too, where the other party doesn't want to do anything. They have this king ideology, like I'm the king and I'm not supposed to do anything, and they will literally, they really, if they could get away with having somebody feed them and wash their butt, wash them in the tub, they would. I've seen it. It is that bad, and it's not a king ideology. It's a laziness. It's a ridiculousness. I tried to burp. I tried to pause it. It didn't work because I was looking like that. I don't even have time to be editing this. I apologize. You burp too. But yeah, I pressed the click button, and then that's all I was looking like. Did it work or did it not work? Excuse me. My tea is spicy and ginger. So yeah, it's important. Very, very important. Oh yeah, I was talking about the laziness, how those some of the women in those situations, or I'm sorry, because it could be reversed. It could be the men having a lazy co-parenting woman. So that opposite energy, that doesn't want to be work, the queen syndrome, not having to do anything, or the king syndrome of not having to do anything and expecting the other party to be their slave, then going on a rampage because they didn't lost control of their slave. That's not love. That's ridiculousness. And when you really look at it like for what it is, it should make anybody, if they're in this situation, it should make them more ambitious to remove themselves. Because if somebody's in a relationship, situationship, partnership with somebody who don't want to do nothing, they don't even want to manifest. They just want to just sit around and be a couch potato. You're blocking my light. My light's right there. Thank you. They just want to be a couch potato and they don't want to do nothing. And they just want the other party to serve them hand and foot. That's not even fair. It's not fair at all. It's like, number one, when you, okay, that's beautiful. When you love somebody, you don't want to see them struggle. When you love somebody, you don't want to see them doing everything for you. You want to help them. You want to make it easier for them. You just want to level them up. So it's like, those people, they don't love. They just have a master slave activity plan on in their mind, and they want to be the master, and they want everybody else to be the slaves. Straight up, it's the way it is with those type of personalities. So beware of that. Sometimes people don't realize what somebody is capable of until it's too late. But just pay attention to the warning signs from the beginning, and there should not be any issues. So that was all that I had to say. I'm wishing everybody lots of success out there in those co-parenting streets and protection of the children. Again, I can't say this enough. Don't learn the hard way like I did. It can be very, very heartbreaking. If you see the signs that the other parent is mentally and spiritually unstable because the child comes back different. I'm talking about they go over there one way and come back another way. Ding, ding, ding. Problem. Do not let the child go back over there unsupervised. It could be it could be a problem that is being that is occurring, that is happening, that could take years to clear up. Years. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I would hate to see somebody have to spend years trying to heal their child mentally and emotionally and spiritually because they didn't take the proper action to stop the other parent from harming the child. So, if you see the signs, impose a visitation, a supervised visitation. You're not being, you know, wrong because you have the evidence. The child's behavior is different, and they're telling you stuff. Oh, this, and this, and you know that's the evidence right there. They're telling you what the other parent said that's negative, and then they're coming back acting different. That's enough right there. That is enough to show you that that person is not responsible, not safe to be around a child unsupervised. So I just want to say that, and I'm wishing all the children on the planet lots of love, lots of healing. I know that parenting is not easy, and I am not speaking from a space of perfection at all. But listen, I have not committed any crimes, and there are people out there that do and have. So be careful with the babies. And I do think it's a crime to be abusive and manipulative to the child just just because they're evil. Just because they're vengeful and hate the fact that they done lost their slave. So I'm wishing all the mommies and daddies, all the co-parenting people, lots of love and lots of healing. The best thing that anybody can do for their child is try to help that other party with their healing if it's in their ability. If you have the resources financially, then definitely it's to your benefit and to your child's benefit to invest in that person's healing. That doesn't mean give them the money. No, you give the healer the money and say, hey, can you do a remote session on my child's father or my child's mother because my child is going over there and this is what's going on. The child's coming back and saying this, and the child's coming back like this, and it's not appropriate. Always, always take action. Don't be complacent. Don't be scared, stuck, or feeling like stuck and not knowing what to do because you have this video and you have people that are willing to support you, willing to provide you guidance if you just listen or if you just open up and talk to them about it. That's all I want to say. Wishing everybody out there lots of healing and lots of love.